Hello there, YouTube. We are back with another round from our locals over at Sully's Abode the previous week. I'm joined by Quackity McQuack Quack, Kaiju Master, TJ himself.
I wonder if I could ever do like a Godzilla quack.
If you ever do, I'm just gonna splice the
I'm not gonna
Godzilla
try.
theme like right there and then.
I was gonna try it, and then I don't think it's let's keep going.
This did cap out. This was the finals matchup over at last week's locals at Sully's Abode, which, for those of you who don't know, local card shop in Bolingbrook, Illinois. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, feel free to check the shop out. It's a great place, great vibes. They have a ton of TCG supplies, games, products, locals that pop up every day. Ours has been particularly crazy every Thursday. We start now hard at 6:15. We're going to have to start thinking about player caps and whatnot, but we've been consistently getting like 20 plus people, which is crazy. But yeah, if you're around, check out the shop. It's a great place. I'll drop their TCG player link in the video description below, along with our socials. So check those out. And lastly, if you could do us a favor, like and subscribe, would really appreciate it. All the support that everybody's been giving us doesn't go unnoticed. We truly do appreciate every one of you, and we can't thank you enough. But enough sort of yapping about. This particular round that we have here is myself playing Mirage on the left, going up against Justin, who is a newer player to the shop. He had been around the area before, but just decided to swing by, and he was getting some practice in for Ulti Cup. Real chill guy. Shout out to you, man, for great matches and just great conversation in between rounds too. So hopefully we see more of you. Really great player, and we did have a pretty good back and forth here. So hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Without further ado, let's hop right into the round. Also, sick mat, by the way, that he's got.
Yeah, he does have that. He's got that
mat.
I can't remember who made. I've seen the mat before. I can't remember the artist that did it, but it is a really good mat. Yeah, Justin was really cool to meet. It was really awesome to have him at the shop. Super chill. Definitely good people. So
good people and good player too.
More.
Very good player.
Yes, very good player. I mean, this is his first time at the shop, and he just whammed red hybrid all the way up until
yeah,
he went undefeated. And I won't spoil what this match did, but he was undefeated up to this point.
Yeah. But I've setting up. I got a beta in the back. I use a Searcher Gao to pick up a burst mode and trash the rest. And Justin just goes flame on and then passes turn by going into the memory setter Takuya. I get some chip damage in with the Gao, and I just pass over by going into a level 4 in the back. And here, Justin pushes out. He's got, I think, establishing a memory setter Takuya is huge early games for Red Hybrid, just because it ensures that I cannot choke, and he can also extend his plays by gaining memory as well, which is wild.
Yeah, it's very good going against Mirage. Oh wow, okay. Atomic first. So that's 2 checks at 11k.
And hits
2 trainings though. That's huge.
Yeah, 2 trainings just definitely saves my ass here, but does gain the 2 memory back. And then swings again with the... Jesus, what the fuck is my security?
And... I mean, that sets you up. That puts you in a pretty good spot.
All the value Justin, right there.
Yeah, probably just trying to choke you to 1.
Yeah, which he does. Drops an Uko, which is fair, because now he's like, deal with me, which I'm going to try to do with what he's given me.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 trainings just mean you can go up your line for 3 and you'll gain the memory back.
Right.
So
go into the Mock Gao here for 1. Here, I'm like, okay, let's just go ahead. I believe swing into his bigger body, get rid of the Tamer. Go training to go into Mirage for 2. I'll go ahead and bounce the Uko, which will allow me to restand with the Mock, and I'll gain 2 memory off of 1 off of inheritable, 1 off of hand size. Yeah. And then I just use that to swing over the flame just to get rid of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then
good board control.
I drop another training and pick up a Kuma and pass him over at 2.
And I think the training was smarter to drop that than the Thomas that you were thinking about initially. I think the
Yeah.
2 choke is important because if he has 3 memory, he can drop another Takuya and then drop
like
something
potentially
else.
like warp into it if he has enough hybrids and trash, which I don't think he had
Yeah.
at that point, but he could have.
No, but it puts him in a position where he can't play like 2 tamers. He can't play with
Right.
BT-7 and BT-12. He has to just play one or the other.
Right.
Which you have to BT-12 for the memory control.
And I will say this though, he did an excellent job at just like controlling his hand size. He was he was telling me too, like he's had a good amount of practice against Mirage. And he was very conscious about being like, okay, like I need to like just trim my hand size down. So like consistently I was never really able to gain a lot of memory.
Yeah.
Red Hybrid in and of itself is a deck that probably does a good amount of that. And here I think thinking about it, and you'll see this as the round kind of progresses, I think I kind of spooked myself out a little bit by not swinging. I think I was playing a little bit too cautious there because I forget too that I've got Makao in hand or in the inheritable. So like if he does swing with Uko, which I'm pretty sure most of the times he will, I'm going to be able to restand anyways. So he can only really just like warp and pop or just have to like...
Is the Makao all turns?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Monka.
Yeah, so he decides to just say, okay, well, choke me again to 1 and see what I can do. So we training...
At this point, you definitely need to go because you just lose next turn if you don't.
We training into the Makao that gives blocker.
Yeah.
I go into security with Mirage. I draw for the Wanya, hits an Uko, which is not too bad.
Were you missing a burst mode?
I don't know.
Okay, you use the BT3 to bounce the Uko
bounce
back to hand,
Uko,
get your memory
and
and
then-
suspend you. That's good.
So okay, we'll go back up to 3. I do die to the Alda.
Do you?
Yeah, because
Shouldn't
he's
you
8k.
have had more DP. But you gain DP off your Evo. No?
I think
You
it
should have been
depends on
bigger.
how I should have been bigger. Yeah, I should have been 9. Even
Yeah,
if he
'cause
only
you
had
gained
4.
2K
yeah,
at
I gained
least.
2k. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were 9. You were
Daisy.
bigger than Aldo.
But we do burst mode here. Do bottom decking shenanigans just to restand. We do live. And I'm like, wait a second. Unfortunately here, I'm like, wait a second. We do have the out. I was like, I almost miscalculated. We go Gaoga to drop the Thomas, which will let me restand after this swing.
Yeah. There you go.
Then we go Thomas, restand, and then go pop. Go for game.
Yep. That'll do it.
So that's game 1.
Yep.
But yeah.
I was going to say, if you lose that game because you could have evoed into a Mirage or something.
Yeah. Which was the thought process, which was to just, again, like bounce security as much as I can back to hand, especially with Red Hybrid. That was the play, was to swing, go into Mirage, so I'll bounce, and then I'll gain a ton of memory and also restand both of my Makaos, or my Mirages. But yeah, I missed that. That was on me. But we're able to sneak it out. We get there.
I mean, you still got it.
But yeah, I think at the end, like as I was like kind of thinking about the matchup here, because there will be a little bit of downtime while we set up here. You know, I was playing a little bit conservative, and I think I almost like spooked myself out a little bit. And I think you'll see this a lot in the next couple of matches, where I have an established Mirage on board. I just don't poke because I'm afraid the poke is gonna pass over resources or memory, or just like add hybrids to his trash. So I was really just waiting for like the OTK, which I think I need to get in the, like, I think the better way for me to think about it moving forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, is more like maybe do that for like a turn. And if I'm like just sitting on it, just go for it, you know, and just start poking. Like, don't just like let my Mirage sit there and end up getting popped without gaining any value off of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like Red Hybrid's gonna be around. It's a really strong deck. It's always going to be very strong, and I think it's only gonna get better. We're still gonna see it. It's gonna be a lot of Magnus next set, but I think a fair amount of players will still be on the Red Hybrid train because it can just go faster.
Yeah, I mean, Red Hybrid's still just, it's the deck, because of how it was designed. As long as it is able to play its Takuyas, and like especially with Uko, like there's so much pressure. It's so fast. Atomic Inferno is an insane card.
Yeah.
That works even. It honestly still works really well going into the next format because the blocker gives you more memory. So if like Magna X blocks one of your bodies after it gets Atomic Inferno'd, you just gain 3 memory.
Right. Right.
So you net 2 off of that.
I think
play.
that's an effect that's part of the effect that a lot of people forget is that if you do block it, you give your opponent a crap ton of memory to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty, so let's hop right into game 2. I think we forgot who was going first. What did we say? I believe Justin did go first. Yep. So he hatches a Koro and goes into a Flamemon. And I think here he just drops it to Kuya, if I remember correct. Oh no, he just goes into a Goonie in the back, which is not a bad play. And then we drop a boost to choke to 1. We go ahead and pick up a Mirage and see what he can do.
You're setting up. You're getting a good amount of resources here. Justin looks like he's debating whether to push up or not.
Yeah, that Aguni does provide good value, you know.
Yeah.
Dying and being able to recur another Flamemon's always like pretty good. Goes out in swings, but unfortunately does not die. It's a Betamon.
Yeah.
And then here he goes into Burning Gray just for more like kind of digging. And then he gets the Goonie inheritable as well, which is not bad.
Yeah, drop it to Kuya. It's okay. The thing is like unless the stack dies, it doesn't get any value, which is always the scary part about playing against. That's a lot of memory to pass to you. Holy moly.
Yeah. So you do crack the boost to go to 5. We go into Gauga to bounce the Uko back to hand. I will gain a memory off of the Gao and just like bulk his hand up a little bit.
Here
we go the Mach Gao to bounce the Burning Ray back to hand. Gain 1 off the Gauga. And then I did pick up the Mirage, which we'll go into.
Which is what I was talking about over there, right? Which is just like it's total value loss there. But you gain 2 memory, so you keep turn. You don't have jamming.
I don't have jamming, but here what? The more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, dude, Ben, why did you do that?
You should have just done your 2 checks there, brother.
Yeah, I should have just swung 2 checks and put myself in a better spot.
The Zudo, did you not have anything cheaper you could drop? Because I feel like it would have been better to pass even.
So the idea was to So Justin does that just to trim his hit. The idea was to do this next turn, right? Which was bounce security again, gain multiple memory here, and kind of set up a double Mirage Floodgate and try to go for game here. Unfortunately, I don't have the Tamers, which is a bit rough, and Justin's hand size is sort of less than the 8 that I would want it to be. So I can't really do like burst mode Thomas shenanigans.
You can't choke him.
I can't choke him because he's got double Tamers out on board. So I just play out for 5. So here's what I'm like, dude, Ben, just swing. Like, don't be afraid, just swing. But I just pass over turn. Which again, I think I'm psyching myself out here. Like, I should just swing.
If you would have swung the turn before and then did that play still,
game's over.
With what Justin had to respond with, you won. You won this turn.
Yeah. Game would have been over by far. Like, this would have been easy peasy.
And now the scary thing is too is that you put him in a position where he can very easily just go into an Emperor and pop one of your stacks and gain memory back because that Zudo Waste inheritable.
And he's got the memory from the Uko, so he starts off at 4. If he can do what you just said and get up to a big guy, he's living good, which he can easily do because he can go into Alda here, go into an Emperor, pop the stack, and keep turn.
Yep, and then swing for
big numbers.
2 checks, gain 2 memory.
Craft Crush.
Oh yeah, Craft Crush even, on top of that too. Another burning. He's just trying to find the Alda, it looks like. Or
either the Alda or the Emperor. But then finds the Fire Drake.
Which works.
And then he keeps turn.
Yep.
So as he's doing this, I'm like, oh god, if he has an Alda, I'm gonna be hurting so bad. Wait. Is that?
Did you?
Wait, did he just go Emperor on top of a Burning?
Oh, Ben. How did
How did we-
How did neither of
what?
you guys catch that? That's fella.
Look, bro, this is at like 10:30. Holy shit! I did not
but
catch that. That's huge. That changes the game completely for me.
Maybe we. Okay, well
Shit.
you clear it.
We clear it.
You cleared it.
Oh dear. We do bottom decking stuff. And we check. So we hit an Alda. We go into Gao in the back just to get a rookie on board. But with his hand size, Mirage isn't going to be able to do a whole lot more. We can swing again and maybe chip away at security, but there's not a whole lot it's going to be able to do. We play out a Gauga just to pass the turn to keep the Mirage unsuspended. I think my reasoning there was so that if he builds up, he can't swing over it, and I threaten a Zudo ace play with the level 4, but man, shit, that feels bad.
And
man.
he's gonna go to 3 regard. Yeah, this is a very interesting game. You should have won by now from just swinging and not getting in your own head about it. And that's the Emperor Great Play just shouldn't have happened. That's
Oops.
Well,
hey, content engagement.
sometimes these things happen, folks. Sometimes you are up since 4 a.m. or you get so lost in the sauce on Evos that you just don't catch up. And I don't. Before people see this too and go, "Oh, Justin cheated." Justin did.
He did not.
Not the type to cheat.
No.
He was not the cheat. He was of the mind that he was a level 5, and it was later at night. Where this is round 5.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he like had the Alda in hand and like accidentally just
Went into the burning.
Yeah. Because
So
it was one of those nights. By no means.
No one
call
No
him
one
out.
go and do that. No one
Don't
go
do
and do that. That's not what was happening here at all. It was definitely just he was tired and was not thinking about it, or just didn't catch it himself. And
Because we were like in between rounds, we were like just talking about like what we like life and all that stuff. He had been up also since pretty early, so both of us were coming straight from work, going into a 5-round local. Like shit like that happens. I didn't catch it. That's also on me. So if you're gonna call him out, you call me out too. So that's that.
Yeah. Anyways, so moving forward.
It does pass turn, but it's a scary board for me to deal with because I'm just like I don't really have a response, and I'm also feeling bad because it's like, man, if I had just started swinging, I would have been able to do so well.
Yeah. This definitely went on way longer than it needed to.
And here I'm like, you know what? We can be kind of funky with it. We can swing with this Gao. We'll bounce the Uko back to hand. And if I live, I can just restand Thomas and win. But I was like, okay, well, it wasn't meant to be.
I mean, you can technically still do the same with that, right?
Yeah, technically.
Oh, but it dies.
But it dies.
Damn it. It would have been really funny though if that worked out, because that's happened before. I've done that before with Mirage, and you've definitely done that to me before, where you'll just swing and be like, oh, I lived, and then you just.
And here my only play was to say, look, like if I give him his security pluses, he's just gonna breeze right through me. So I Zudo ace to strip 2 sources off, get rid of his Takuya, and I believe another source that gave him an additional benefit. I forget which one I stripped, but just to kind of make sure
the Alda, so that security effects can still proc.
Which doesn't matter because he just atomics and says okay.
Yeah, so he's huge numbers.
He's big guy, 3 checks. Just plows through security at that point. And then goes Uko. We have Final Shining, which again doesn't really matter because he can just easily hybrid.
Full moon.
Or full moon, yeah. Final Shine, Jesus.
And you go.
And then he goes Burning Gray.
Yeah. All right, we go to game 3.
Go to game 3. Yeah, and I think that's what I'm alluding to when I meant by I'm psyching myself out and being too defensive. Like, you said, like I could have easily just swung. Like, if I give him Tamers, fine. But like, I know I'm not gonna die. If I hit,
Do you think that the control mentality you had, because I know we talked about it a little bit the last video. Do you think it was partially the control mentality you had going in today, where you were more focused on controlling board and less about?
Yes, I was more focused on controlling board and trying to say, okay, let me just like starve him and then go for game. But at that point too, like I needed to remember, which this is all like hindsight, right? Where it's like, you know, red hybrid isn't gonna be a deck that runs like big bodies. Like my Mirage will be fine. Like I can just swing, it'll be fine. Keep it on board, and
Your
just like
biggest
put
fear
the
is maybe a
pressure.
Blitz Omni.
Right.
Maybe one BT-7 Emperor Gray, but you have
Right.
jamming, so most of the time you're gonna be fine.
Right. So I should have just swung, and like you said, like if I just swung like that turn that Justin played out his Takuyas, and that's another thing too, right? It's that like I was afraid of hitting a Takuya. Like if I do, fine, but like if he just played those out, I'd just go for game there. Like I would have won.
Yeah. I mean, even with where the game went, like he definitely could have provided more pressure. But the thing is, too, I think the other thing you have to keep in mind against red hybrid is that you can't really provide that much board control.
Right.
You can't bounce the tamers, and that ultimately is their strongest resource, right? Like you can control the rookies and whatnot, but you'll do that as you go up your line.
Right. So
like
yeah.
The one turn I think it was definitely smart to just sort of swing over everything and bounce stuff the way you did, but otherwise, yeah, you definitely should have just been Unga Boonga.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's just something that, you know, even as I was just driving back that night, I was just like, that's definitely like a learning point. You know, take it back to the lab, take it back to the shop, and you know, learn from it, grow from it. Don't let it happen in Peoria. But yeah, no, I mean, good game 2 outside of that, you know, Evo shenanigans. Doesn't take away from the fact though that I think like Justin's still playing this matchup very, very well. You know, he's trimming his hand size.
Oh yeah,
he's doing really, really well with like DP climb, deletion, playing his graph crushes at the right time, because I think you can definitely burn yourself by playing a graph crush at the wrong time and not using it effectively. So he's still playing the matchup very, very well. And he's doing a really good job at choking me as well, which I think is just karma. I do that to people all the time. Yeah, and then he's also just been able to establish that memory setter Takuya as well very early, which is huge.
Yeah, getting it consistently early is good, and especially when paired with Uko. I mean, having your turn start off with 4 memory is huge. You just spawn the Thomas drop, which I think that's fair.
Yeah, and the Ugo's just scary, man. Like he's already got back-to-back Uko. Like it's just crazy. You know, if I don't deal with that Uko, then he like shoots up. It's
that burning gray now is 10k.
Yeah. 10k, big body. He goes into burning gray, the pseudo level 5. And here he's got a couple options, right? He could probably like, if he wanted to, just swing big numbers, gain 2 memory back.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he does, and he can keep setting up plays, which is not bad. And that's the thing with Red Hybrid too. I feel like it's so flexible in what it wants to do. It can go Unga Boonga. It's still very good at like resource manipulation with the recursion, the memory gain. It's like got that perfect mix of like aggression and like resourcefulness. That's what makes it like super strong.
Yeah, and then the board control it has as well. It naturally just can pop a lot of things as it goes up.
So it goes Zudo. I strip 2 sources. We do go ahead and bounce the Uko with the idea of like I can just swing over the Burning Gray.
Yep, makes sense.
We training.
Do you know if he's running Garuda?
I don't believe he was, but that's one thing I was a little worried about, but I don't think I saw it enough the first 2 rounds where I was worried about it this time.
Yeah,
I don't think
Garuda
he is.
is so good for Red Hybrid.
Yeah, dropping a Tamer, Blast Evo.
It's usually just a 1-of, but it's really good.
Yeah, and this is a
scary
scary
spot. The fact
spot,
that you pop something with blocker when you drop a Tamer too, right?
Right. This is a scary spot for me because my Zudo Ace is just primed for the.
Yeah, it's very vulnerable.
Primed for the Taken right now. And he's got multiple ways to deal with it 100%. So at this point, I'm like, things aren't looking very good. He's got the double Uko. I'm like on the back foot. I'm trying to do my best to kind of control board as best I can, but with that memory setter Takuya, it's just rough. And the double Ukos it's bad news bears. But he's also missing some pieces, so there's still some hope.
Grab a piece off that flame on.
Can't pick up the Burning Gray, which he was like, man, I was looking for you. So even if he evos here, he's gonna pass turn. So
Can't choke you because of the Thomas.
right. But at this point, he decides to just drop another Takuya.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just keep setting up for more aggression next turn. Because next turn he can just have game if you don't control board hard enough here.
Right. So we do go into Mirage for 2. We bounce the Flamemon back to hand, and I do memory gaining shenanigans. I do have jamming here, and I go ahead and swing over the Uko. I don't have a burst mode. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have a burst mode in hand, so I'm like, okay, this is a bit unfortunate. And let's just hope that I can live next turn, which is a bit of a tall order with the Ukos and the 2 Takuyas over there, because he's easily like an Atomic Inferno away from just like ripping through security. So he goes into a Flamemon in the back. He pushes up Uko, goes into a Burning Grade that he picked up last turn on top of the Takuya. Yeah. So he's a big guy. Will gain the memory if you check security and lives. Goes into Alda, which I'm like, oh, here we go.
Need to be mindful if you check security because of your Mirage.
Which if he pops it though.
Yeah, which I'm assuming he.
Yeah, so he grab crushes. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
there we go. We go Emperor. He gains the memory back. Man's gonna check for. He's like, you know what, fuck it. We'll go Atomic. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, that's just game then. There.
Yeah, that's just game because I knew I had a full moon in hand. I'm like, that's not gonna do anything here, and it goes swings for game.
Yeah. Whew.
So he takes it. 3 games, like I said, like real good back and forth. I think he played the matchup very, very well. Definitely some learning points on my end in terms of just straying one way and.
Sorry, I was laughing at my tired ass hand reaching over just to fucking turn off the camera because I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. It's 11 o'clock. We need to go home, guys.
But yeah, I think a couple learning points on my end just from like strategy and like getting one extreme to the other. And honestly, just really good games too. Like it was great meeting Justin, great playing with him. Real great guy. I'm hoping to see more of him in the shop too.
Yeah.
And hopefully he did well at Ulti Cup. You know, I know he was practicing for it, so I wonder how it went for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you all liked the content and liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on that flippy flip. Bye-bye.